Pre-show, is this working? It says I'm live, but you know, you never really know with these things. Let's just refresh that one and see what it says. Gives me an opportunity to play. There we go. All right. Very good. Hey, Wixton and Vista Church. That's Dean. Hey, Dean. Got a new streaming PC today that we're using for the very first time. It's a new one, and so we transferred all the settings from this one, from the old one over to this one. But you wouldn't believe all the settings that have to get transferred.
You talking to me?
No, I'm in pre-show. You want to join me?
Oh.
Are you there? I probably ought to go
No.
look. You're not there yet. Okay. Well, sit tight.
No, I'm here.
You are here. Okay, hold on a second.
Yeah, I lied.
You lied. That's not a good thing to do. All right. Well, let's see if we can bring
It was a friendly lie.
It was a friendly lie. Okay. All right. Now, Cliff, you should continue to see me. Actually, no, you're going to see yourself right now, and you're going to see my empty chair.
Yes.
Okay, good. That means... And so basically you're going to see whatever the show is, unless you want me to send just my image. But I think it's helpful to be able to kind of see, how you're positioned and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So,
I like to see how I'm positioned.
So,
Matter of fact, I got to move myself a little bit.
Yeah, you're off center just a tad. Okay, let's see. Is this live?
How's that?
We're live on that one. Okay.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, you're great. You're great. I really enjoyed the show with you yesterday.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I'm sorry I interrupted you so much.
Well, but that's the nature of this medium. Let me flip over to the other set just 1 second here.
It's weird to see the delay on myself.
Yeah, you just have to ignore that. But if you focus on me, you'll be okay. All right, sit tight. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Coming to you from across the room. It'll take me just a second to get there. I am my own Frank. That's the problem, see? So... There we go. There we go. We got spaces for everything. Whoa! I'm big. How did I get so big? We have to fix this.
It's just your head that's big.
Fortunately, we can fix it from right here. And I got to get my ears on. Hang on a second so I can hear you. But it's interesting growing up not having a Frank. You just you figure out how to do everything yourself. And it's like the farmer that's out there, and he doesn't have any farm hands, so he just does it all himself. So
yeah, fortunately, I'm at Simulmedia every week.
Yeah, let's see. There we go.
I have no Frank there. By the way,
yes, go ahead.
Sorry,
you're fine.
No, I was just going to say, in answer to your question, it's just your head that's big.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Well, the things that make it work for me are the remote control for the PTZ Optics PTZ cam, and so it's great. It means I don't have to to walk across the room, adjust the camera, come back, sit down, see if it's right.
Right.
I can just do it all from here. In fact, my head is still a little too big. Let's do that. There we go.
I don't think that'll ever change, Tom.
Oh, Zoom will do amazing things. There we go. And the other thing is the X keys. I've got the X keys XK80, and I've got it on a USB extension, so it's running about 20 feet from the PC here, and I can do almost everything. I think I can. This is a new PC, so we'll see if I've got it set up right. But I can do everything that I need to. Now, RJ is saying your mic is just a little hot. Do you want to fix that, or do you want me to fix that?
Doesn't matter. I can go fix it. I just have to go to the switcher. Want me to fix it?
Yeah, fix it. Just bring yourself down just a tad, maybe a tad and a half.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, RJ. And Rich says that something's out of sync. You know, that could be me, Rich. Let me go check mine. I have a habit of doing that. One sec. This is a new PC setup, so we're still kind of working out some of the bugs here. And you guys are good bugger worker-outers.
Is that better?
All right, let's see if that works. Thank you, Rich. Thank you, RJ.
Is that better, Tom? Oh, you don't have.
Somehow I must have a default setting that sets, whenever I set up a new audio input, it gives it a latency of 300 milliseconds. And so that's what this mic right here was set for, 300 millisecond latency. All right, Cliff, let's see how you sound.
How's the sound now?
We can't hear Cliff. What happened?
Yes, you.
Yes, you can. Yeah, I heard that. All right, so we'll let RJ say if it's better. We're using on YouTube. We're using low latency mode, not regular mode, not ultra low latency, but low latency, which I think is about 7 to 10 seconds. So we need to wait just a second for RJ to give us a thumbs up on is Cliff too hot. So Gunner's here and Dave's here. Hey, Dave. And Cliff, do you want to pull up the chat too? Well, you probably can't. Well, you could do it on your phone or your tablet or something like that if you wanted to. Or I can just read them. You've got it right there. Okay. All right. You've got one of those devices. Oh, those devices are so cool. Yeah. So is blue your favorite color?
Not really. I do like blue a lot, but I don't know that it's my favorite color.
What's your
But
favorite?
I do like blue a lot, I have to agree. That's a tough one. I think maybe blue.
Given all the other choices, yes.
I guess. I never really thought about it.
Okay, RJ says the audio level is very close. Dave says Cliff is spot on. Tom needs a little bit of delay. Okay, thank you. You know, Dave, that's really good because I've got two mics here in the studio that I use, one for pre-show and one here for the show. And the pre-show mic is set for 82 milliseconds of delay. How's that for dialing it in tightly? This one was set, unfortunately and accidentally. Oh, I heard that in the background. Better turn that volume down. Yeah. And you know you can freeze that video and it'll still keep the chat going, so you don't have to look at yourself delayed by 3 to 5 seconds. So this mic right here was set for 300 milliseconds latency. So I'm going to go back and set it for 82 milliseconds latency, and we'll see if that fixes it. Dave, thank you very much. Brand new PC, first time we're live streaming with it. We're back to the days of one man, one PC, one awesome broadcast. Yes, indeed. Okay, be right back. Don't go anywhere. All right, hold on. "82 milliseconds. Let's get some ears on here.
Can I have a dum-dum?
I got so excited today I forgot to have lunch. That's what happens when you have a new PC. It makes you stupid.
Can I have a dum-dum?
Actually, I've got a whole bowl here The bowl was handcrafted for me by Dwight Hobbs, who is a pastor of a what is the name of the church? I think it's Cherokee Baptist Church. And I've been doing tech support with him. And he sent me this bowl in appreciation. And it's full of dum-dums and Smarties. I mean, how is that just not so fitting for this show? So if anybody wants one, I'm going to put them right here on the table. Help yourself. We'll have those at the Streaming Idiots meetup, Dum-Dums and Smarties. Plus, we'll have mixed nuts, of course. And we'll have lemonade and root beer and other beverages. So let's see, Dave, are we, did this delay help? It's hard to tell from my part unless I go in and, what do you call? Unless I go in and make a recording. That's what it is. I do have a button here on my X Keys XK80, which is just all keyboard buttons, except they gave me some fancy vMix buttons that are big block buttons, and then a banana button down here in the bottom, which is my cough button. It's a big one that I can find. RJ says delay is much better. Rich says we always have mixed nuts with that crowd. Todd's here. Hello, Todd, from snowy New York. Yes, indeed.
Where in New York?
Snowy. Yeah. Snowy New York. Yeah. Hello, David. Yeah, Todd, we're in New York. Cliff wants to know because Cliff's in New York, too. We've got 2 minutes and 14 seconds to showtime here. Big shout out to Martin K. Martin is the one that for the last, 4 years maybe, has been doing the intro and outro graphics here for the Streaming Idiot Show, and he just sent me a new one, a new outro, and basically updated the copyright date, among other things. It's really cool. I mean, it's just so bizarre. It's perfect for a show like this. Todd is from Rochester, Dave. I mean, Cliff, how far is that from you?
It's about six and a half hours, and it's always snowing in Rochester.
Near the lake.
So he could have said snow in New York, and it could have been like May.
And Martin is here. Welcome, Martin. Sorry I haven't responded to your email. I'm such a slug sometime, but Martin, hat tip to you once again. And Martin, it was a treat last April to meet Martin for the first time in person at NAB. He was ill. I think he picked up something on the flight, so he wasn't full strength. And then to see him again in September at IBC in Amsterdam, and to hang out with him for 5 days was a real treat. Many thanks to Martin for so much help in live streaming and picture taking and all that type of thing. It was great. Tim's here. Well, I guess Tim's here. We'll take Tim. Gee whiz. Oh, Jan's here. Very good. Is Marie here? That's what we really want to know. I got to meet Jan and Marie, Cliff, at IBC as well. And
cool.
Marie is just as precious in person as you can imagine. Jan, on the other hand, what can you say? Oh, Martin said it was NAB 2018. Oh, Martin, you're right. Isn't that funny how time just flies right by? Rick is here from sunny Kentucky. Hey, Rick, how is that PC I built for you doing? That was a monster. I loved building that thing. I almost didn't let it go. I loved it so much. In fact, I built one almost exactly like it for myself, and that's what we're using today. Oh, Tim got his mouse pad. Good. Oh, yeah, that's a tip. If you want a vMix mouse pad, you can send an email to iwantamamousepad@vmix.com. And I think it's I want, W-A-N-T, but you could try W-A-N-N-A, I want a mouse pad. But that's only here in the States, the United States. If you want one, I guess you could request that they send you one from Australia, but we can't send them overseas here from the U.S. I mean, I guess we could, but... All right, John says Maria's on her way to a skiing resort with some of her colleagues. Oh, well, yeah, that's the way to spend a Wednesday, isn't it? Going skiing from work. Todd says that Rochester is the home of the late, great Eastman Kodak. Yes. Martin, time does fly. Absolutely. Absolutely. And Rick says that his PC is running awesome. Glad to hear it. Cliff, how is your PC running, the one that I built for you?
It is awesome. It has made a world of difference.
There's the theme. Has it really? Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
You guys were coming
absolutely.
from a
A big
laptop, so that
alternative.
was a big jump. Yeah.
Yeah, we had a big gaming laptop.
Yeah.
That was
And now
pretty
you've got
powerful,
that
but this
as a
is just
portable
better.
system. Yeah.
Yes, I do. Actually, I do. I use it as a portable system. I think I have 2 or 3 portable systems now, but I always bring backup with me.
Good. Good. Backup. That's a great idea. Great idea. Jan's feeding the cats all by himself for 4 days. It's a rough job. But it's probably snowing there too. That would be in Sweden, where he is today.
How far north in Sweden?
I don't think very far. I think just over the border from Denmark.
Oh, so that's like Florida.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. And Otis is here from Texas. And Frank is here from, Frank I think is from California. So welcome all. All right, well, let's get this show on the road. We're in pre-show right now, so we're just chatting about. And I want to let you guys know that Cliff and I have not rehearsed this show. So even though it might seem polished and succinct, we have not planned this in advance. We're not reading off of teleprompters. It's totally impromptu, right, Cliff?
Oh, wait, hold on. Let me put the script down.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I'm not holding a script. I'm holding
Yep.
my X-Keys XK80, which is a great way. It's on an extension cord. I'm probably 20 feet from the PC, and so I've got buttons that do everything except they don't adjust. I need to have a volume adjust button for my guest. I could do that to bump it up and bump it down. There you go. All right, Frank is asking how your studio is going, and Frank, that's actually one of the things that we're talking about today. Jerome is here. Hello, Jerome. Welcome. Good to see you. That's Life Media Pro there in the chat room is Jerome. And Jerome, the question is, how are you doing, man? You are in my prayers regularly. Jerome has a heart condition that slows him down, and as a former heart patient, I am very sympathetic to that.
I think Frank was asking me about mine.
Yeah.
I'm
yeah.
sorry.
Yeah. No, I say that's what we're going to talk about today is your studio.
Oh, darn it. Do you want me to do an NDI input with my iPhone?
Well, maybe. What the heck? Sure.
I can always do that later.
We'll take a second.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Hold on.
Todd is trying to stir up trouble in the chat. Todd, you probably won't find too many takers. This is not a American
Studio.
college football centric organization. Were to say if people asked about football, a lot of them would say, "Oh, you mean soccer?" So Cliff is actually coming to us from his studio. You can see all the folks in the background that are working feverishly for him today. The Streamcast Network is the name of his company. You can go to the streamcastnetwork.com and get more information. And in fact, if you have a studio, well, I'm not going to get into that quite yet. Jan says, we have yet to see any snow. Temperatures are plus 6 Celsius, well above freezing. So plus 6 Celsius is probably like 40 degrees Fahrenheit, something like that. One of these days I'm going to get the conversions right. Oh golly! Now Otis is jumping into the fray on Clemson versus LSU. He got suckered in. Cliff is in the New York area, so you've got it there.
I do. How do we get it? When you tell me when you want me to bring it in.
Yeah,
Yes, I have to run back to the switcher.
How do we do that? Yes, that's good. And Dean said it is not snowing in Orlando. Well, Dean, I'm relieved. I know that the forecast for snow was made. When was the last time it snowed down there? 6 years ago. Holy cow! That's about the time it snowed
Hey, Tom.
here in Fairhope. Yes, Cliff.
I hasten to disagree because Orlando is Snow White.
Ah, gotcha.
It's like a dad joke.
Yeah, a dad with girls. Okay. All right. Well, let's get this show on the road. Are you ready, sir? Did you get a
Yes, sir.
sip of lemonade? Let me get a sip of lemonade here. Oh, well, before we get started, could you see me last night when you were talking? When they flipped to
Yes.
you full screen, you could see me making faces at you because I was going like this and drinking
You were?
lemonade. Yeah. Oh, so you weren't watching? Okay, just checking. Otis says 75 in Houston. Glad for the weather report. All right. Let's see if we've done this right. I'm going to mute Cliff. Cliff, can I hear you? Talk. Okay. All right. So we got him muted. That's good. We got to remember to turn him back on. Help me remember that if I don't get it. Curtis says it's snowing in Ontario. So let's go here, and then we'll turn that off, and let's get the show on the road, shall we? This is going to be fun. Here we go. On 3, 1, 2, 3. There we go. Welcome. I'm Tom Sinclair, and this is Streaming Idiots. Don't pay no attention to that microphone right there in the tip of the picture, and no attention to the bowl of goodies there in the front. We've got dum-dums and Smarties. We thought that was appropriate for all you streaming idiots out there. Really excited today for two reasons. Number one is we've got a fabulous guest. Cliff Sobel, I'll bring to you in just a second, a longtime friend and streaming associate, and you're really going to enjoy hearing from him, especially if you have a studio of your own. Whoops. So that was not intentional. It was right next to the mute button for Cliff because I accidentally turned him on. But if you have a studio of your own, or you're thinking about building a studio, you'll want to hear from Cliff on this today. It's really cool. But before we do that, I do want to say that today we're bringing you this broadcast from a new PC. As we were talking in the pre-show, I was chatting with Rick and had just built a PC for Rick. I guess, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 weeks ago, and it was a screamer. I loved building that machine. I mean, it was so much fun to build and to play with and to get it tweaked and then to ship it out to him. I almost kept it. I almost told him, "You can't have it. I'm sending your check back. You can't have this one." But I didn't. I had to send it to him. But it just made me realize how nice it is to use the right tool for the job. Because here in the vMix, in the Streaming Idiots, the studios of Eastern Shore Broadcasting, we've been using 7-year-old equipment for our live streaming just because I'm a cheapskate. And I didn't want to spring for it. But it was one of those things where, sooner or later you just have to let go of your second generation i7 and upgrade to a 9th generation. Well, in this case, 8th generation, because I got it on sale. So I've got an i7 8700 it's K CPU, not overclocked, but it's a 6-core, which means you've got 12 threads. And I've got 16 gigs of RAM, which is your normal. And then I've got a solid-state M.2 main drive, and then just the old platter drive that I had in the previous PC as my recording drive. But it was so nice. Now, in the past, I have done all the production on the second generation i7 PC and i7. And then done the recording and streaming on a second PC using NDI to send the video over. That second PC was based on an i3, believe it or not, but it was a quad-core i3, so go figure that one out. A quad-core i3, and it would handle streaming and recording, but it wouldn't do much more than that. But that's okay. That's all I needed it to do. Now I've brought that back to the main PC, so the main PC is doing all the production. We're working with about 50 inputs in vMix today. We are running 3 different live streams, all of them at 1080. We've got YouTube at 1080. We've got Facebook Eastern Shore Broadcasting page, and then Facebook Streaming Idiots group. And then we're using the feature in vMix where you can send the same stream to two different destinations. So we're doing that with the two Facebook ones. I guess we could do it with the YouTube one too. I hadn't thought about that. I'll have to try that. As we're in pre-show, and I have Cliff on a vMix call coming in. He's coming in at 1080 as well. The CPU use was 18%. So we're streaming 3. We just started the recorder, so I don't know what that's done with it. I can't see my CPU use from here. But suffice to say, man, it is so nice having the right tool for the job. So if you are suffering with less than ideal equipment and you think it's time and you need somebody to help you with it, feel free to give me a shout. You can scan the little QR code right here with your phone, and that'll bring up our website. Or you can go to streamingidiots.com and go to the contact page and shoot me an email there. And I would be glad to respond and help you. Even if you just want to get an idea of what it would cost, just so you can do future budget. Or maybe you built your own and you just need somebody to help you tweak it to get it right. We'll offer that as a service too. We just want to help. We want to help people have the best live stream they can have. So let me bring our guest in and turn on his mic and tell you a little bit about Cliff. Cliff and I met online, I guess, about 23 years ago, back when he invented the internet. No. No. How long have we known each other, Cliff?
I'm going to say about 2.5 years.
About 2.5. That sounds about right. And we finally got to meet in person at NAB this past year.
Yes.
You have been working on the Streamcast Network studios for longer than I've known you, because when we finally met up, you were well into it. And I don't want to steal the thunder, but because I want to talk about your studio and what you're doing in your studio. But it's been such a treat to get to know you over the last several years. We were able to meet in person at NAB this past spring, and have dinner and chat, and just definitely simpatico. Somebody would say it would be a bromance, but let's don't go there. We don't want to do that. But it has been fun to make your acquaintance and enjoy your friendship. And Cliff and I talk probably not once a week, but close to it, about things going on in his studio or things going on in my studio right here. So Rick is saying in the chat that his PC, the one I built for him, creeps up to 18% sometimes. Well, that's okay. I think you'll be okay at 18%. And we built a system for Cliff for his studio, but we don't want to talk about that quite yet. Cliff, let's go back to the beginning and tell me, where in the world did you get this idea to do a live streaming studio? I mean, did you have it? Did it come to you in a dream? Did a friend suggest it? Did you get something in the mail that prompted or did you watch the Streaming Idiots show? What was it?
Well, of course, I've been watching the Streaming Idiots show since the 60s.
Yeah, that's right. We came on right next to the Flintstones. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it was a lot of poking around. I owned a business for about 25 years where we disrupted a lot of businesses. And ultimately, we got disrupted. The disruptor got disrupted.
Uh-huh.
And I worked with manufacturers in photography, video, and film, and print. So that's my passion. That's my love. And one day, this guy brought into my office his iPhone with this little application called Meerkat. And it was so bizarre that we could just put this little iPhone on a tripod and start recording live. And people just started watching us.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And then, I went down the Periscope path. And then I thought what was really cool, I was with my brother one day who was in the media business, and he had a friend named, I think the guy's name was Max Hote, and I think he was like one of the founders of Livestream. And he said, Livestream's coming out with this product called a Mevo. It's supposed to be unbelievable. So I bought a Mevo, And I got hooked. That was like about 3 years ago, and I got hooked on it. But it was a very quirky little system. It's not really professional. And I started to think, well, you know what? I think I want to see if I can make a living at live streaming, because now I'm really getting passionate about it.
Aha! You caught the bug.
I did upgrade to Livestream Studio, which I was not particularly happy with their support. That was difficult. And through a series of phone calls bouncing over to PT Optics, some engineer said, "Oh, you need to call a guy named Tom Sinclair." That's how I got to vMix. And but the passion grew over a period of time, and it continues to grow.
Yeah, I would say it continues to grow. Tell us about your studio today.
Well, I didn't know that I'd be showing the studio today because
That's
a
okay.
mess.
Just
but
build a word picture.
But I will. Okay, but I will show it if you'd like me to.
Yeah, we'll do that in post show.
Yeah, that's fine. The studio is about 25 feet by 30 feet with 12-foot ceilings. It's funny how you think it's huge. I think it's small.
You can always
ultimately
need a little bit more space. If I just had another 100 square foot.
Yeah, if I just had 2 more feet higher in the ceiling, if I just had another 5 feet wider.
Yep.
So I built the studio, and I have friends in the industry who helped me design it. And we have I insulated the walls inside of the sheetrock. It's like a yoga mat called Automute. And so all the walls are covered with Automute.
Awesome.
Then I put up these they're like these sound clouds, these sound waves.
Yeah.
These foam sound waves. They're all in the ceiling. A little bit of carpeting to deaden the sound. We have a lighting grid, a full lighting grid that we installed. And actually, it's not as expensive as you think. We bought steel pipes from Home Depot and created an entire grid from the steel pipes. Then I'm very lucky because a close friend of mine in the industry is a lighting director and a director of photography. And he owns a 3-ton grip truck. And he parks his truck here. I give him storage space. And we're just good friends. So he did all my lighting. And whenever I'm on a job, I just call Joe. I say, "Joe, I need help with lighting." So Joe is always helping us out. As a matter of fact, I have a funny little story about the lighting in here. We were having a big problem with our green screen, even though the lighting was really good. What was the problem? Cliff was the problem. Why was Cliff the problem? His silver hair was reflecting. So my hair was dancing. And in the post-show, I'll show this. Joe took an entire day and redid the lighting on the set specifically for my hair.
Which means you can never change your hairstyle.
I can't color it.
No. Well, that'll happen naturally. Yeah.
Then we have a full rail that goes around the studio. And one whole side of the studio is for a green screen it's like 12 by 25 or 14 by 25. It's a cloth green screen, so we can move it around. And then with this railing, we can also put up drapes. We can put up other types of backgrounds. And so that's how we set it up.
Cool. And cameras? Microphones?
So we have, so the cameras. So we have 3 Sony A6500s with power zoom lenses. So we do that for our 3 camera shoots. Plus, right above me is a PTZ optics camera that we purchased from a company called Eastern Shore Broadcasting. This is not an advertisement.
No. Well, no, it is an advertisement. The entire series is an advertisement. It's a giant infomercial.
It's epic.
It is.
So this camera is used for over-the-head shots. If we have guests in here, they have products, and we want to do an over-the-head shot. We've had chefs cooking in here, and we use this for the overhead camera for the shots. We also use that camera for someone who's on handling all the comments on the various social media platforms.
So that was the camera that Lori was on yesterday?
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what camera are you on right now? You're on one of the Sonys?
Yeah, I'm on an A6500.
Okay. That's a good picture.
And also have 6000s and 6300s here. And then also I put my little iPhone on a gimbal, and we go NDI wireless, and we use that as a fifth camera sometimes.
By wireless, you mean your own internal Wi-Fi network. You don't mean over the camera's data plan. No.
Right.
Okay.
It's going over our network into the switcher.
Okay. All
And
right.
we have
That's cool.
we've partitioned a lot of bandwidth in the studio. We have 150 megabits up in here.
Is that all? Gee whiz.
Yeah, I know.
Poor guy.
And then the microphones, we use various types of microphones. We have a lot of lavaliers.
Yep.
We use Sennheisers. And Sennheisers, they're about $700 a piece for Sennheiser lavalier. And a gentleman by the name of Alan Zenreich said, you ought to try the Rode Go's in your studio because, while they're not as, they can't handle as much distance as a Sennheiser in your studio, they'll be fine. So we bought a whole bunch of these Rode Go's, which in the studio are fantastic. And I can actually show you one if you want to see it. And then we have a bunch of
anybody
AKG.
that wants to can Google it.
Yeah.
Now, tell me the camera again. That was the Sony A6500?
We have A6500s, and we have 6000s in here.
6000s.
And
okay.
somewhere running around in here, we have an AR-7 III or AR-7 II.
Chuck's asking in the chat, isn't there a time limit on the Sony A6500? Does it shut itself off after 30 minutes, or do you guys not have that issue? Okay.
No, we don't. It's clean HDMI. It's not shooting anything. It's just like a dumb camera.
Right.
So it doesn't turn off.
So
and
Chuck, you and Cliff may
battery.
want to get together at some point in the future, and maybe he can take a few minutes and help you work out how to get yours where it doesn't shut off. Chuck and I have worked together on that for a while.
Absolutely. And these cameras give such a beautiful image. I've actually shot a couple of concerts with these cameras. And what we'll do is we'll rent lenses from Borrow Lenses, and we just get such beautiful quality image when you need it. It varies on what you need.
Okay, so that's your that's the hardware, that's the bricks and mortar studio, but the whole concept of a studio, it's really more of an idea. It has a bricks and mortar element, but it's got more than that too, and you and I have been talking about, your studio and the future of your studio and your dream for how it was going to happen. And you put yourself out there in traffic, and somebody ran over you and discovered you and called you and said, hey, can you come do a production in our house?
Yes.
And tell us about that. You can name names if you want to, but you don't have to.
Sure. I want to, you know what, I think I want to explain how I did it, because I want to give other live streamers the information, because they can do this on their own.
Okay, good.
There's
good
no
stuff.
secret sauce. It's just hard work. It's hard and smart work.
Well, that's pretty secret.
Yeah. So what you need to do is, as you said, is put yourself in the path of traffic. It takes time to get noticed. So I joined a marketing collective of alumni from my university. And it's a bunch of young alumni in their 20s and 30s. It's in Manhattan. These kids all work for Google, YouTube, Pinterest, WeWorks. So they work at all the cool places. So I said to myself, you know what? That's a place I want to be. So I joined this marketing collective, wormed my way up, and got them to ask me to be on their board as an advisor. Okay? So that's the first step. That has nothing to do with
kind of like a
streaming.
chaperone. Yeah, I get it.
Exactly. And they come to me when they have problems and issues. Oh, what do we do here, Cliff? What can we do? Do you have any ideas? Or, hey, we're doing an event tonight. Can you do the photography? And sure, whatever, guys. And really, it's a lot of fun. I've got to make a lot of friends. And, they're young folks. They're great. I have a great time. So one day, and they have events with very well-known folks in the advertising and marketing industry. So they were doing an event, and they had folks who ran ad agencies in Manhattan at an event, and it was being held at a company on Park Avenue. It's a company that does what's called predictive analytics, if you know what that is.
Not a clue.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't
I mean,
matter.
does that have something to do with counting cows? Because that's what we do down here, is we count cows.
Kind of.
And then depending on the
Kind
number
of.
of the cows, it tells us whether it's going to be a long winter or not.
And they know how to advertise to cows.
There you go.
So I went to the collective, and I just thought it was in a big enough event that I would produce a live stream. And I didn't just bring one camera and a laptop. I went to town. I did a 4-camera shoot. I hired my freelancers who come in. We set up we made this thing look really, really professional. Because I felt, all of our cameras and us and the switcher and everything was going to be in all 4 lanes of the highway, with an audience of 150 people, 100 to 150 people, all in the advertising industry. We set the whole thing up, and I found out from others that the senior vice president of marketing was very impressed with what we were doing. He had never seen anything like that before, and he asked to speak with me. And before I knew it, I live streamed an event for them, and then I started live streaming a show, and we built a very simple studio in one of their conference rooms. I leave all the equipment there, and we live stream shows anywhere from 2 to 4 times a month. And that was all because I joined this marketing collective.
Aha. You put yourself out there in traffic. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I get it. That's awesome.
Anybody can do it, Tom.
All right. Well, yeah, but you told me something yesterday that was really important, and when we talk about live streaming, a lot of times we're talking about the technology part of it, the bits and the bytes and the bandwidth and the bit rate and all those kinds of things that go with it. And we're talking about cameras, we're talking about microphones and software and computers. But what you told me yesterday was that it's really the R word. Do you remember our discussion about that?
Yes, I do.
Yes, you do. And it's all about relationships. I mean, it's human contact. And sometimes that's not easy for some people to do. I mean, do you just how do you do that?
That's a really good question.
Yeah.
And there's really no secret sauce to that. It's helping people, providing them good, valuable information, and over a period of time, those people begin to trust you. And once you gain trust, then you can start making recommendations. Hey, I have an idea for you. You want to talk? And those people usually are open to you when you do that. Mm-hmm. And also remember, Tom, I've been selling now for almost 36 years. I started my career as a door-to-door salesman in Manhattan, knocking on doors cold.
Oh, my gosh.
I did that for 5 years, selling office equipment. I worked for Pitney Bowes, the postage meter people.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That's really what that started me off, was learning how to sell. But selling is really not selling. Selling is educating, developing relationships. It's so important to develop a relationship.
Right. Well, when you're talking with someone, and when I'm talking with someone, let me put it in the first person, and I sense that other person has my best interest at heart, I'm opening right up. I'm telling them all the secrets. If they've got my best interest at heart, and they know something I don't know, or they have something I don't have, and I can tell that they really think that what they have is going to be good for me, then I'm all in. And that's how I've tried to do my business, and obviously how you've done yours. The old make a friend, be a friend. Yeah.
It's old-fashioned, but it works. And in fact, if you think about it, live streaming really is about developing relationships.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. You're pausing because you want me to say something.
No, not necessarily. I could keep going. So
No,
we
it's-
spoke about something yesterday,
Yes, we
and
did.
that was about the difference between linear TV and live streaming TV
Yes.
in our world is the engagement portion of it. And it's about having a community that can communicate to host to community,
Yes.
community to host, and community to community,
Yes.
and building a strong relationship within that community,
Yes.
which is what you've done.
And what you've done. I mean, this is the Mutual Appreciation Society here going to work. You have set yourself, number one, you've put yourself in traffic. Number two, you've invested your time and your energy, number one, in this group of young professionals. And they now see you as, as an expert in the field. You were able to bring that expertise and share it. Other people noticed it. Those people decided, hey, this is the kind of person that we want to work with. And so they said, hey, Cliff, come tell us, come talk to us, come do whatever whatever they said. And then that's the point at which you've gotten to the story. But that point, that's drawn other business tell us about that.
Yeah, that's a really good point. So I'm going to give you an example. So now I'm in this company in Manhattan. They're called Simul Media, by the way. And so I do shows every week from their studios. Well, guess what? Their audience are brands, or they're in advertising agencies. Guess what I see? I see potential customers. So, for example, they had on a guest in December who's the president and CEO of a bunch of cable channels. And the CEO was there, and I said hi to him, and he had a woman there working with him, and I got her card at the end of the show. We chatted a little bit, and I wrote her a letter, an email, and I said, hey, because I heard her talking about what she had done before she had gotten to this cable channel. She owned a brewery.
Oh, wow.
And I think that's a great guest for Anatomy of an Entrepreneur. So I wrote her a letter, an email, and I said, hey, would you be a guest on my entrepreneur show? And oh, by the way, could you ask the president and CEO of the cable network too? She wrote me back and she said, I'd love to be on your show. I'll be on in a few weeks, and let me speak to the CEO about being on.
Okay, stop.
Okay.
We neglected to talk about that element of your studio. So let's pause this success story right here. Let's spin back
It's
around.
not a success story.
Yeah, we're going to pause this part of the success story, and let's spin back around and talk about your show, The Anatomy of an Entrepreneur. And
Yes.
because I think that is just genius. I think it's genius. Tell us about the show, and then I'll tell you the parts that I think are genius.
So I have a show called Anatomy of an Entrepreneur, and it's all about entrepreneurialism. And I bring on a guest every week who discusses how they've become successful in their field. Now, I take a very, very wide-angle view of what an entrepreneur is. An entrepreneur can be a president and CEO of a company. An entrepreneur can be someone who's been successful at a not-for-profit. An entrepreneur can be somebody who runs a startup. I've had on everybody from a 3-time Guinness Book World Record holder to an attorney who opened the first American law office in Moscow as the wall was coming down in 1990. I've had on TV hosts from New York. I've had on all different walks of life. And what I do is I have a certain formula in the show that I go kind of through the same things, and it proves what I say, that, look, you put in the right work, you can be successful too. And I ask those types of questions. Now, there are other agendas I have. My show isn't about as much as about how many people are watching. It's about who is watching. So one thing I do is I get prospects.
Stop right there.
What?
Stop right there. Say that again.
What I say.
That's a nugget
My
right
show
there.
isn't as my show isn't as much about how many people are watching, but who is watching.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And one of the things I do is, as I'm developing relationships with prospects, I have them watch the show. And those are some of the who's. Because that's my target, and that's the part of the relationship building. Then,
Time out. This is too good. This is too good for us to just zoom right through. We got to chew on this a little bit for a second. Folks, what Cliff is saying is he's got a show that has the purpose of creating a client base. Are you getting that? He has a show that he gives away to potential clients that don't even know they're potential clients. And that's the purpose of it. Yes, he loves good content. He wants to have something that's interesting, that piques his own interest and piques yours and mine. But it's a vehicle for him to market his company. People ask me all the time, Tom, how do I make money doing live streaming? Well, unless you're going to be QVC and sell a product, you're probably not going to monetize it like that. But this right here is how you monetize a live stream. Right there. You got it? Yeah? I mean, this is genius stuff right here. And you're just waltzing through it like, oh yeah, this is what we do every day. This is a radical concept. I absolutely love it. Okay, now that I've interrupted for my little sermonette,
it's okay.
Let's catch you back up. So you're inviting these people to be on your show. You're inviting them to watch the show. You're inviting them to watch the show.
That's one aspect, yes. Yes, that's one aspect.
But you're also inviting people to be on the show just because you think they'll be good guests.
Well, yes and no. So they're not only good guests, but I want those folks to see. I want them to sit in that seat next to me and understand the power of this medium. So
but if you called this person, you said, "Hey, why don't you stop by my studio for a tour? I want to show you how powerful this medium is."
Right.
They would say, "Yeah, like next year."
Right. That's what I was getting to, Tom. That's a great point. Is that my whole career was based on cold calling, and I don't have to cold call anymore. And I'm going to give you an example. There's a minor league baseball team on Long Island called the Long Island Ducks. And for a year, I kept on sending emails to the president of the Long Island Ducks. No answer. Not one. So one day I wrote him an email and I said, "Hey, I understand you've had quite a fantastic career. Would you please come on my show?" He answered me immediately and came on the show. And guess what happened? I had gotten an appointment with him because he asked me would I come to him and make a presentation on live streaming. Does every prospect turn into a customer? No. Does every prospect turn into a customer when you want them to turn into a customer? No. But what it does do is it builds a relationship. It demonstrates your proficiency and expertise in the live streaming industry. And when they are ready, they will use you, or they will recommend you when someone says, I need to do this live streaming stuff.
Yes. And they'll say, you know what? I know this guy. Yeah. He's a little quirky, but, you'll like him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there are all these people out there, Tom, that they have their, with the email funnels and use my course. And okay, that might work for a certain segment.
Right.
But that doesn't work for me.
Right.
Although I'm sure over a period of time, as we're building up our email database, we're going to, continue to push out emails to prospects or folks to watch the show. But I'm more about relationship building.
So you've got this, let's just call it a sales funnel. It's a show, but it's really a sales funnel.
I guess you're right.
In a hybrid sort of way, because it's a tool that you use to bring people in and show them how great it would be and they can now see themselves doing something like this that will improve their image among their peers or their competitors or their colleagues or their customers. It will make them better known. What did I say something?
No, I'm hearing something running around here. Sorry.
Maybe it was that little dog you showed me yesterday. But they can suddenly it's almost like you've given them a sample of ice cream. You know, here's some rocky road. Do you like it? Is cookies and cream?
Right.
Would you prefer
Right.
this? They've tasted it. They now their mind has been opened to how all this can work, and they never ever would have done it had you not invited them on your show.
That's right.
So tell us about let's take another side trip.
And by the way, you
Yeah.
have to know your content. You have to know your content, and you have to like your content. Right? So I have been an entrepreneur my whole life.
What are
so
you talking about? Where did that come from? That's
Well,
just like
because you can't just do a show and bring people on. You've got to do a show that fits you and has your voice and has your imprint and the things that you know, because you sound more credible and more knowledgeable. I can't do a show on sports, but I do have a show on sports. But I'm not hosting.
Exactly. Yeah, you do a show on sports.
We do, and we actually have sponsors.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that's a huge part of your success story is what you've done with the lacrosse guys.
Right. So FLG Lacrosse is a very well-known, established lacrosse training, recruitment, and event company here on Long Island. Long Island is the mecca of lacrosse, and it has always been.
Wow.
And these guys are very well respected, so we started doing a show all about high school lacrosse, and we've had that show on about a year and a half now, and we've built out an entire media platform of live streaming, a journal that goes out every week, all kinds of content that goes out on various social media channels, and now we have about, I don't know, so far I think we've got about 5 sponsors, mostly in lacrosse and sporting industry,
Right.
who sponsor that show. But here's what's important. The 2 guys who host that show, they know everything about lacrosse, and they're passionate about lacrosse. And so it's easier to drive traffic and to drive interest in that show.
Yep.
So, like, I couldn't do that, but I can do entrepreneurialism.
Okay, so you've got the entrepreneurial show that is your content that you're producing, and then you're producing the lacrosse show, which Did you ever play lacrosse?
No.
No. Yeah.
I don't know anything about it.
Exactly.
My
but
part-
but you don't need to, because you got the guys and they know about it. You just need to make sure their mics work and they look good, and all the technical parts are working. And then you've got the Simon Media Group that you're working with out in their studio.
Yes.
And the stuff and let's go back to the stuff that was spinning off on that, because we don't want to lose the lacrosse guys or the entrepreneurial show. But I think the Simon Media model that you're using there is the one that's really going to blow up for you, although you never know.
Yeah, and actually I have 2 other shows that we're doing as well. Also, paid clients
Yep.
are doing shows in the they're paying to do their own shows, and I'm helping them build out their shows. So in that sense, I'm producing, directing, and consulting.
Right.
But so in the city at Simon Media, we took one of their conference rooms and we built out a little studio. And we bought a cart and we loaded it up with gear, laptop, the switcher in the laptop, HDMI ports. What else do we have in there? Obviously connection to the internet. And then we put in a PTZ optics camera in the studio that we've mounted that I can control. And we only need one person to live stream that show. I don't need a whole crew.
Right.
And we've actually cut that camera up into 3 separate cameras. So 1 real camera and 2 virtual cameras that are capturing regions of interest.
Yep.
So it looks like a 3-camera show.
Yep.
And then on the side, when someone's doing comments, we have an iPhone that's handling all the comments, and that's going NDI. wireless into the switcher. So it looks like a 4-camera shoot. And at the end of the show, all that equipment stays at Simul Media, and I pack it up. I put it on the cart. Their IT people puts it back in the IT closet, and the PTZ Optic camera just sits on the wall. But I've worked out a long-term agreement with them. I have a long-term agreement with Simul Media in place, and part of that deal is I leave all the equipment there.
Uh-huh.
And that's all part of the package.
Gotcha. And whatever your fees are covers the cost of all that stuff, so you're not
Yes.
missing it. Yeah. Got it.
That's right.
All right, so we've got the lacrosse guys, we've got the entrepreneurial show, we've got the Simul Media, we've got the other people that the 2 other companies that you're doing shows for. But you were telling me yesterday, I'm sorry?
It's an IT recruitment firm.
Okay. But you were telling me the other day that
Sorry.
your real passion is to produce your own content, like the entrepreneurial show.
Yes, that would be my greatest success, is if I could make a living just off of original content. And so I'm at a point now with the live streaming where we're experimenting with different types of shows and to see what happens. And I told you about one of them yesterday. We actually have 2 that are happening.
Tell us about the cooking show. Yeah.
Okay, so I had a guest on my show who owns a really nice restaurant here on Long Island in the Huntington Village called Babalu. Babalu's a Cuban restaurant. Great food. Ever come to Long Island, go to Babalu, see Alan. The food is great. So
if I come to Long Island, you're taking me to Babalu's.
Okay. Are you paying or am I paying?
Well, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
I mean, we're just talking right now. We'll work out those details
Okay,
later.
it's a great restaurant.
You're paying. Of course you're paying. Holy cow.
Okay, then you're just going to get chips. So plantain chips. So I had the owner on twice on Anatomy of an Entrepreneur. The guy was a professional boxer, and he just has such a great story. And in his show, we brought in videos of him boxing because he was on ABC, ABC Sports and all that kind of stuff while he was boxing. So we came up with this idea, let's do a cooking show. Do you want me to give you the whole premise of the cooking show or just tell you that we're doing a cooking show?
Give us the whole premise. I mean, we're in for a penny, in for a pound.
Yeah. It's so funny. In any other industry, I would never give all this information away. Never. Not in a million years.
Yeah?
But either it's the community is so open or I don't care. I don't really know. So we came up with an idea.
Whoa. Stop right there. There's another nugget.
What?
There's another nugget.
Okay. Sorry.
There's only one Cliff Sobel. And the concepts that you come out, only you are going to be able to pull off. If you gave me every detail of this cooking show, I couldn't pull it off. I couldn't do it.
Maybe not.
It just wouldn't work.
Right.
So don't worry about. I mean, number one, bless you, and number two, don't worry about what you share, because what you share, people are not going to do what you do. They're going to take the concepts and they're going to apply the concepts in the areas that they feel proficient in. Yeah. So
and I want them to.
So give us all the secrets.
Okay. So we came up with an idea for a cooking show where we're going to have 3 chefs come in the studio. Before the show, Alan, the chef, is going to prepare a dish. When the show is live, we're going to have 3 hot plate burners and cutting boards and all kinds of food and shelving for culinary tools. They're going to come in blindfolded. They're going to taste the dish that Alan has made.
Ah.
The food goes away. The chefs are unblindfolded. And they have to prepare what Alan had made. And the one who comes closest to what he had made by looks and taste and texture and all that will win a prize.
Ah, how cool is that?
So there will be a refrigerator, a couple college refrigerators behind us with all kinds of ingredients, and they get to pull out of there. There'll be a rack with all kinds of tools, and we're going to do a 5-camera shoot. So we'll have the 3 cameras, the 3 Sonys. We'll have the overhead camera that can do the overhead cooking shots, and then also somebody on a gimbal walking around so they could do close-ups. And these chefs they all have big personalities. The goal of this show is A, to have fun, because this is what it's all about, and B, to see if we can make money from it. And we already have companies that are interested in sponsoring.
Now, this is going to be live.
Yes.
So
right now the date looks like March 28th.
That distinguishes it from most cooking shows that are done months in advance and edited
Right.
and re-edited and re-edited. Yours
That's
is going
correct.
to be live, warts and all,
Yep.
spills,
Whatever
explosions,
happens.
the whole 9 yards.
Yep.
Oh, man.
And Tom, what else is it going to do that linear TV can't do?
Well, you can't taste it if you're at home.
No. But the audience can ask questions.
They can comment, sure.
They can comment, ask questions. They can comment with each other.
Yep. So I think this is a stroke of genius at like 10 different levels. If I were the proprietor at Babalu, I would wrap you up in a multi-year contract right now, and say, fire all your other clients. I'm paying you, I don't know, $1 million a year, and we're
Right.
going to just blow this thing up.
The technology that enables us to do this is amazing. But all it is that's what comes along with good content.
Yes. Couple comments in the chat. I gotta say. Number one is Amnon saying most guests feel really good after being on the air after being a guest. This is in response to talking about the Entrepreneur Show. And Frank wants to know if you've produced any traditional pay-per-view streams out of your studio. But my favorite comment so far is from Kenny that says, Cliff, have you had my attention with the blindfolded chefs and the knives?
I have it blindfold.
Yeah, that's right. So we were talking about the community aspect and the feedback aspect from a chat, and there it is right there. People are,
It's just being creative.
Well, yeah.
Get
It's
resourceful.
but it's giving yourself permission to be creative too, and it's also giving yourself permission to fail, because this thing may be a god awful flop.
Absolutely.
Would that be the first time you've ever had a flop?
I've had more flops than successes in
There
my
you go.
career.
There
I
you
would
go.
say I'm probably successful 30% of the time, which is a
30%
lot.
of the time? You could play Major League Baseball for 30% of the time batting average.
That's
Yeah.
right. Right.
Yeah.
Ted Williams was, a 333 or something?
Yep.
As a matter of fact, one of the first live streams I did was a comedy school on Long Island. We live streamed their classes.
Ha!
But
How
the
did that
show
go?
went on for like 2.5 hours. They would get like 1,000, 2,000 views, but the show went on for 2.5 hours, and I didn't have good miking at that point, and I didn't have good lighting in the comedy club at that point. So it was difficult, but it was fun, and I learned from it.
Yep. All right, so let's go back to the cooking show, which is in March sometime, you say?
Yes. Right now we've assigned a date of March 28th.
Okay.
There or abouts.
Well, make sure you don't
And
do
I'll
it
let
like
you know.
April 17th or something like that.
No, I won't do it during NAB.
Don't do it during NAB, although you can bring pictures.
Yes, and video.
And video, yes. Oh, that would be cool. I'd love to run something like that during the Streaming Idiots meetup.
Sure.
Some little blips of that. That would be very cool.
Yeah. And it's just the whole experimental, to me, like I ask people all the time, there's a guy who I had on the show. He's got 40,000 followers, and I was introduced to him by Paul Richards of PTZ Optics. He does live stream tours of Manhattan, and his tours are so fascinating because they're not run-of-the-mill tours about here's the Empire State Building when it was built. He'll talk about the guy who fell off while they were putting up some, metal support, and his wife saved him because she happened to be there that day or something. He just tells really incredible stories, and I had him on this show, and he told me no, but one of my ideas was to bring, while he's doing a live tour, bring him on live so that we can comment on his live streaming.
He didn't like that.
And I don't know if he didn't like it. I just think maybe he's too busy. I don't know. But he's a really nice guy. And I do recommend that anybody who wants to learn a little bit about New York to watch The Urbanist.
The Urbanist.
He does a great show. Yeah,
There
The
you go.
Urbanists. He's on Facebook
right.
Live. And
All
he
right.
gets a lot of views. So, but it's all about experimentation, and I love that. I love that experimentation. So, Tom, I don't really look at anything as failures.
There you go. Good deal. Good deal. So here we've come to the time in the show where you say nice things about me.
Okay.
So you
Do
know,
I have to?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Do you have to? Well, no, you don't. But I would like you to comment on what it's, and and this is purely self-serving. So I'll unless somebody thought it was something other than that. But what it's like how important it is to have a relationship with somebody that you can count on to provide the
Oh my
backup and the
gosh.
support.
I'll tell you, Tom, if I didn't have your help on some of these projects I've done, I would have failed. I mean, more than failed, I could have lost clients. But the fact, and I'm really not advertising you here, I'm just being straight up, and I am serious. If I didn't have your support, I don't think I could have gotten this far. And so by buying my equipment from you, I had access to you. And you probably would have helped me anyway, because there are times where you'll help me with things that have nothing to do with your equipment. But
Right.
absolutely, the support that you get is essential, because I'm really not a technology guy.
Right.
And even if you are a technology guy, you can't possibly know everything. So you've got to surround yourself with people who know more and are better than you. And in live streaming, you're way better, much more capable than I am. So when I have an issue, I give you a call. And also, Tom, I don't like to abuse it, and that's why we also worked out a retainer that on certain projects that I call you up and you're there helping me out. If you're doing something else, but I know that I can get in touch with you if we have a problem.
Right.
And boy, have you saved my butt a couple times.
That was kind of what I wanted you to say. Yeah. Thank you.
But it's true. I'm not making. It's not an ad. It's true.
Well, but here's my perspective on it. Number one, I like Cliff a lot. I wish we lived closer together so that we could hang out more than we do. I want to see him be successful. I want to be a part of his success, and I want there to be certain things that I can bring to the table that maybe he's going to get eventually somewhere else, but that I can make it quicker, faster, easier, and avoid pitfalls by doing that. And I really do. And I maybe I'm overstating this, but I don't think so. I really do see myself as a partner with you in what you're doing with the Streamcast Network. I mean, obviously I'm not on the creative side. I'm not out there, setting up lights in the studio. But for my niche role, that I feel like it's an important part of your company to have me involved.
Absolutely.
And I'm on staff with Streamcast Network.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm serious. I got myself into a couple of pickles last summer. You remember? Mm-hmm. And thank goodness you were.
You got yourself into pickles because you were pushing the envelope, because you had a vision of what you wanted to do.
Right.
And you just needed somebody else to kind of fill in some of the blanks, some of the gaps that kept you from being able to do it.
Yeah.
The fact that you had 5 minutes to spare was just
it would actually be smart. It would actually be smart if before I went into those projects that I called you up and said, "Hey, Tom, here's what I'm going to do." No, I call you up about 20 minutes before we go live and say, "Tom, I'm having a problem of something I wanted to do."
Yep. I get a text. I'm in the middle of a live stream and this is not working. Yeah, it's like, okay,
Literally
well,
during a live stream.
do
We
this.
actually had a live stream in December where we went black. The audio is still there, but we went black. And somehow I texted you, and while the show was live, you went on TeamViewer and you solved the problem in about a minute.
Yeah, yeah. During the middle of your live stream. I remember that.
Yep.
That was the first time I'd ever done that.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. I, it was a disaster, and we needed to fix it. So,
And if
we
you
get
think
creative.
about it, for some of the live streamers out there, that's a business in itself,
Yep,
right?
yep,
So
yep.
if those who are doing live streams, you could be a consultant and kind of be on call when they're doing a live stream, and you could charge to be a consultant while they're, getting ready for the live stream or they're live streaming. Of course you.
So don't tell them. Just call me.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
You
no,
said
that's
give
all
away
right.
the
That's
secret
fine.
sauce.
That's all right. That's all right because one of the questions that you asked yesterday was,
Yeah,
but where?
hold on a second. Hold on. Now I have to interrupt you.
Oh my goodness.
As you said, there's only
Yes.
one Tom,
Well, that's true. Yeah.
right?
Duh.
So there's
Yeah.
only one Tom,
Right.
right?
Right. Right.
And
Right.
it depends upon the level. You might be a guy who can only help with cameras. You might be a guy who can help with a switcher, but there's only one Tom Sinclair.
There you go. There you go.
I wouldn't rely on really anybody else, many other people.
Okay. Very good. Checks in the mail. Thank you very much. That's just what I
Thank you.
needed. Just what I needed. And it has been a
I
joy.
take Venmo.
I mean, it's been a joy to work with you and work with Frank and a little bit with Lori and to build that machine for you guys that I knew it was going to solve a lot of the problems that you were having just to have
Oh,
the
that
right
machine's
equipment
great.
to do it.
Yeah, that
and-
machine is so powerful.
Oh yeah, yeah. And Dave Edwards is saying that he's a Tom too, so that's okay. No, I'm teasing Dave, but that also you guys will be continuing to grow into that machine for the next year, maybe more. And the key to it is not the machine that I built. I want to give credit where credit is due. The credit goes to Martin Sinclair for creating vMix, because vMix is the secret sauce. vMix is the super glue that binds all this stuff together, that allows you to do these things that could not have been done maybe definitely 10 years ago, maybe even 5 years ago,
Yeah.
or at least not for less than $100,000.
I've used about 4 different switching softwares now,
Yep.
and I've looked at a few more, and vMix I felt was the most robust and really met my needs.
And your needs are like all over the map. You've got a bricks and mortar studio, you've got a remote studio that you've set up for somebody else, but yet you're going to bring in content of somebody else's. You're going to bring in content of your own. You need a Swiss Army knife to be able to do all of that for you. And
I do,
Yeah.
and vMix does that,
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
and it's stable.
And it's stable. Yeah. Yeah, it's very reliable. And by the way, I was noticing today you're running vMix 22. We got to get you up to 23.
I know.
Yeah. Because SRT is something you're going to be able to make some use of. It really is.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll talk some more about that. Yeah.
Yep.
We won't go into a consulting session right now.
Yeah,
but we
because I don't
could.
want to be charged while I'm on your show.
That's right. Well, you already are. I mean, are you kidding? You think I was having you on here for free? No, I was on Cliff's show yesterday, The Anatomy of an Entrepreneur. You can go and pick that up on Facebook. If you go to the Facebook Streamcast Network page, you'll see the show from yesterday. And we talked a little bit about what I do. And so I thought, what a great idea to bring Cliff on and talk and share his story. Because here's his story, and to do this at the beginning of the year. Because Cliff's story is full of, I think, such hope for so many folks that would like to do something professionally with live streaming. all the different things that he's doing are not going to be the same thing that you're doing, but rather it says, hey, this guy has gone from an iPhone and a Mevo in 3 years to a full-blown studio doing productions for himself and for other people. And it can be done. Now, Cliff will, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but there were times where you thought, is this thing really going to happen? I mean, I can remember, you calling and saying, Tom, I've just spent like, $10 zillion and I don't have a single client.
Right.
But yet you were positioned so perfectly, it was just going to happen. And fortunately, you had the wherewithal to do the bricks and mortar first. Some people like me, for example, we're doing the bricks and mortar as we can. We've got the studio here, but we only have a couple of clients that use it, but would like to do more on it. And golly, but you can only spread so thin. But that's way off track. So if you've got a word for folks for this next year or even this next decade that are thinking about expanding their live streaming business or getting into the live streaming business, what would you say to them? What words of advice or discouragement or encouragement would you give them?
I have no discouragement. I do have two things which we've spoken about already before. One is learn your craft, and the second one is the R word. Build relationships. And then leverage those relationships to develop your business and demonstrate your knowledge in the industry and capability.
There you go.
And stick at it. When you feel like giving up, keep going.
Yep.
Because there are days that I still, we only started generating revenue last year. And there are days where I go, I can't do this anymore. And I just get up and I go.
Right.
That's when you have to get up and go, is when you feel like quitting.
But once you get going, it's okay. I mean,
Yep.
The energy comes, the creativity flows, the interest peaks. Yeah, I get that.
Right.
I get that. Well, I can't wait to visit your studio.
I'll even clean it up for you.
Well, you don't have to do that, but I would love to do a live show from your studio. It
Yeah,
looks
that'd
good.
be great.
It looks good in the background. Everything's clean. The lights, everybody's at their desks. Looks like you're ready to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's actually a video that I stopped.
Oh, it's not real?
No. That's a green screen.
It's a green screen. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Well, look, we're going to close out the show part of this and go to post-show. Folks, I'm sure they've got some questions for you, and we won't make it a long one because you've been very generous with your time today. I can't tell you how much I appreciate it.
I appreciate you bringing me on.
It's been a treat. Oh, are you kidding? Yeah, it's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer. So, folks, stick around, and we'll be right back with the post-show where Cliff will be taking your questions and comments, and who knows, we may even have something we can give away here. We'll find something. So sit tight. We'll be right back. We are out. All right, dude. That was awesome. Thank you so much.
It was fun. I enjoyed it.
It was fun. It was a ton of fun. All right, so so if you're watching and you have some questions about Cliff, for Cliff, about his studio or about the kinds of things that he's doing in his studio, or some comments about anything, now is the time. Let's see what we got here in chat. Wixton says, my plan for 2020 is building a studio and plan for video and live stream sessions for my municipality. Looking forward to it.
That's cool.
There you go. All right. Amanula says, with help of Tom and vMix, I could build up a page, and today I have 54,000 followers, and every day it's adding up. Thank you, guys.
Wow.
Well, there you go.
That's a lot.
Awesome. That is a lot. Tim says, what's the low-frequency rumble in the background?
I hear it too.
Yeah, well, if it's a constant low-frequency rumble, it's probably my new PC. We need to quiet it down a little bit. But if it kind of comes and goes, it's the big highway out here near us. We've got all sorts of sound treatment. We've got boxes. We've got moving blankets. We've got carpet. We've got rolls of carpet padding. We're doing everything we can to reduce that noise from the road. But, you know, some of it just squeaks through. Daniel Wright says, I hear some static from an open input, maybe. I don't hear static.
I do.
You do?
Maybe it's on my side.
Well, let me mute me.
But why
and
would it
see if
start
you
out
hear
of
it.
nowhere?
What about now?
It's gone. Nope,
It's gone. Oh, that was mic number 2. Got turned on automatically somehow. I have to rework the. Yeah, I've got a button right here for the mic over there at the pre-show desk, and when I turn it on, now you're getting just a little bit of both mics, so I can turn it off. Yeah. Tim said it sounded like trucks. Well, it probably will. It will blame it on the trucks. Yeah. So RJ says, Cliff, are you your own sole sales force?
At this point, yes.
Will you always be your own sole sales force? I can answer that for you.
Okay, go ahead.
The answer is yes.
Why is that?
Because you're the one with the highest vested interest. You're the one that's most capable in that area. And you're the one that will establish those relationships.
Yeah, it's how I built my last business.
And it limits how big you can get on one hand, but it also provides an immense amount of, and I'm speaking on behalf of myself as well as you, but it also provides immense satisfaction because you're working with all your clients, and you know you're watching them be successful, and you're having a part in that success, and you're getting paid.
Yeah.
It
depends, Tom. That could vary. That could change.
It could change, and I've heard people say, if I can close 90% of the sales, but if I can get 10 people that can close 60%, then I'm coming out way ahead. I get the numbers at that point. But there's also the satisfaction of it. What about the Chamber of Commerce? How important would it be for somebody to join their local Chamber of Commerce?
That's a great question. As a matter of fact, I belong to the Huntington Chamber of Commerce. That's
is that a large Chamber of Commerce?
It's the largest Chamber of Commerce on Long Island, as you know. And,
how long have you been a member?
6 years.
6 years.
5, 6 years. 5, 6 years. Yep. And have I gotten any business from it? I've gotten tons of exposure from it.
Right.
I've gotten maybe one sale, but I've gotten a lot of exposure. And if anybody asks anybody, does anybody know anything about live streaming? I'm the guy.
Right.
And I'm also the chairman of their digital technology committee.
Oh, really?
Right. So you have to get involved.
Okay. RJ with Emerald Coast TV in Fort Walton Beach, Florida. If you're looking for a place to go for a vacation, Destin and Fort Walton Beach, Florida is just the most beautiful beaches you'll find, I think, in the entire world. But RJ is a member of the local chamber there and has had a very similar experience to you. You know, a lot of recommendations, a lot of referrals, a lot of goodwill, but very little direct business with other chamber members. Yeah. And let's see, the questions are streaming through faster than I can catch them now. And I missed one from Newsworthy Vision, so ask it again if you would, please. Tim says, success has killed more businesses than failure. Well, I don't know about that. I think it's probably killed a bunch, but failure will do it every time.
Tom, maybe here's what Tim means, is that if you don't know how to scale a business
Yeah.
and it grows too quickly,
Yes.
that success could put you out of business.
Absolutely. I get that.
Maybe that's what he's saying.
Oh yeah. Yeah. No, I see that. But for every business that goes out of business like that, I can probably show you 10 that went out of business because they were incompetent.
True.
You know, just because you can do plumbing doesn't mean you can run a plumbing company.
That's true.
Okay, let's see. How to convince potential clients that this is something worth doing. Oh, take off on that one for a second.
Okay. The first thing in sales is listening. Okay, so when you're selling, you're really not selling, you're listening. And what you want to do is you want to find out as much as you can about the client and the kinds of things that their business does and areas where they're having issues. And then from there, you need to, especially in this industry, educate your prospect. Don't sell them. Educate them on what live streaming can do for them. And take out the I in selling. Talk about how they can be helped. It's all about them. It's all about how you're going to solve a problem. It's all about how you're going to find a solution for them.
How much of your sales pitch is listening?
Most.
Yeah.
Most of my selling is listening.
Yeah.
That's what you want to do is you want to listen and listen to key words, listen to tonality. And I owned a company that developed corporate training and education for many years, and we developed sales training for major corporations. And I'm gonna talk about, just for a minute, I'm going to give you a 1 minute overview on something that takes years to learn. You want to find out about your prospects. First of all, you need to develop a relationship.
Yeah.
And you want to find out about what are they doing now? What are they currently doing? Then you want to find out about the problems that they're having with what they're doing now. Then you want to find out what are the implications that are, what's happening to the business as a result of the problems. And then you go back and think about, well, what is it that I know? What am I an expert in live streaming? And what solution can I provide to them? And that's just, that's a very brief overview of kind of what to do.
Yep. Agreed. All right, let's see. Tim says listening doesn't work if you don't ask the right questions. Employee
That's
attitude
absolutely
doesn't
correct.
work for an employer. I get that, yeah. There was a comment earlier, I didn't catch it all, from Ballin' Down South Network, which is a sports channel. I hope you'll put that up again because we missed it. Didn't get through. Kenny was bringing it back up again, but if you would repeat that. I can see about 5 or 6 comments at a time right here, and I don't have the ability to scroll back. My apologies. Cliff, you might be able to see it.
I got to turn off my camera first. Hold on.
Yeah.
Oh, darn it.
All right, Daniel's got to go to get some work done. So, Daniel, we'll say so long to you. Glad you were here. If you only catch one show this year, this is the one to catch. Of course, it's the first one. We'll probably say the same thing next week.
Gosh, how far back can I go? Oh, my God, the engagement on this show is crazy, Tom.
Jim says this is a Sales 101 show. Great show, guys.
I've built sales training for a lot of companies. I've taught global sales forces how to sell products and services. So if anybody has a question about selling, I'm happy to answer them for them.
Yeah, and selling is not really selling. Selling is a misnomer. And I think a lot of people get turned off at that. All right, so Ballin' Down South Network says, Cliff, I would love to be on your show. I started a sports network called Ballin' Down South, which we give high school kids. It's It got
A
cut off
platform
there.
to perform.
Okay,
A
there
platform
you go.
to perform in whatever sports they play.
There you go. And college coaches
So-
can see their talent. Plan to have my own
Oh, that's pretty
studio
cool.
to do studio interviews with athletes and coaches.
Yeah. They should also, yeah, I'm happy to talk to them. They should also watch our show Beyond the Game, because Beyond the Game is all about teaching kids. And we have on coaches, high school coaches, college. Last night we had on the lacrosse coach from Notre Dame on Beyond the Game. And it's all about teaching kids about lacrosse, but also how to become responsible adults and using lacrosse as a vehicle. That show's on Tuesdays at 7:30 p.m. on byglacrosse.com.
byglacrosse.com.
Yep.
There you go.
Yes.
Jan says sometimes you just can't provide what the client needs. When that happens, you need to be strong enough to tell that to the customer. And if you have their best interest at
Totally.
heart, you'll do that.
Yep.
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 And they will appreciate it, and they'll find a way to pay you back. Yep. All right. Amanullah says, what is new with Facebook live stream and contents monetization? Any updates? Well, I don't know anything about monetization through Facebook, but I do know that vMix has now got the ability to stream 1080p to Facebook. They got that worked out. In fact, if you're watching us on Facebook, you're getting a 1080 stream right now. And Exarius Records says, thanks for live streaming. Well, you are welcome.
Here's a question, Tom,
Okay.
from Newsworthy Vision.
Yes,
Let me see
that
if
was
I
the
can
one
read
we
this.
wanted. Yes.
I have a question. I have all the gear to do this, all the gear now to do this, but finding people wanting streams is really hard in the UK. How is it that sports teams in the US want broadcasting, but other countries don't count?
All right, that's from Nick. And that's a good question.
I don't know how to answer that, quite frankly. I'm not understanding. What do you mean it doesn't count?
Perhaps he can fill in some of the gaps on that, but
Yeah.
what I understand him to say is that people in the UK don't watch live streams.
Well, then you don't have a market.
Yeah.
Unless you want to start educating people. And remember, you're not going to get customers so quickly because you're going to be educating.
Well, also, if you have content that is so compelling that people will want to watch. All right, he
Right.
says it's like every high school team has a broadcast. They don't go for it here. Well, I mean, the U.S. is definitely a sports crazy country. There's no doubt about that.
That's true.
And money has gotten into sports in a big way here in the U.S. That's probably a lot different from how it might work in the U.K. I mean, in the U.K., a 12-year-old can sign a professional contract. Here, at least, football, basketball, baseball, hockey, soccer, European football, all those sports, probably lacrosse too. You don't have an opportunity to do anything professionally until you get past the collegiate level. I mean, even basketball, you have to be have at least a year of college before you're draft worthy. So I think, as a result, there's a lot of interest in that because there's a good quality. Your stars are still present at the the high school level and at the collegiate level. They haven't gone pro early and kind of gone out of that. So there's a lot of interest in that. And different countries. Jan and Marie are live streaming roller derby. Not that I mean that in a demeaning sense, but the roller derby is just not big around here. Although for places in the United States it is, and it gets live streamed, and it's a big deal. But if you want to live stream, if you really want to use your live streaming skills and tools to do live streaming on somebody else's behalf, you're going to have to find an industry that will embrace it. And if sports won't embrace it, maybe it's going to be cooking. Maybe it's going to be technology. Maybe it's going to be real estate. Maybe it's going to be history. you know, what is it that excites the British soul?
Or maybe it's going to be an experiment and you become the trailblazer.
Well, there's that too. But
right? You know who does a great job with sports, Tom, is your friend Dennis Washington.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does.
He impresses me a lot, that guy.
Yes, he does. And he's had, you know, a tremendous amount of support from his local high school. And they, whoops, sorry, I didn't mean to do that. And they've kind of given him the platform to do that, and he's been able to take it outside of that platform.
You have the microphone issue again.
Sorry. Yeah, when I switch to that other camera, apparently to that other shot. Let's see. Yep, it turns that one on. It does. Okay.
If your goal is to make money with live streaming, then you have to pick areas where there's a real interest. Otherwise, just do it for fun.
Well, and yeah. It's hard if people aren't watching.
Yeah. Right. You know, like Formula Racing is big in Europe, correct? Well, a lot of the teams are actually located in the UK. So you might want to build a show about Formula One racing, knowing that you can tap into this really, really vast community of Formula One racing teams in the UK. It's all about it's just about thinking through different ideas.
Well, there you go. Fair point. Fair point. Well, Cliff, I don't want to keep you any longer. You've been really generous with your time today, and the Streaming Idiots community tips their hat to you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
And they're all going to show up at the Streaming Idiots meetup in Las Vegas at NAB on Monday night, since NAB starts on a Sunday this year. And they're going to meet you and thank you in person. So
I'm looking forward to it.
There you go.
It'll be a lot of fun. I can't wait. I was there last year, and I'll be again this year.
Well, you were, but you were not the personality that you are now. I mean, now you're a celebrity.
I don't know that I'm much of a celebrity, but okay.
Well, you're a micro celebrity. How about that?
Even less than micro. I think I'm in a petri dish.
You're on the G list. Yeah. Not the A list, not the B list. Yeah. Okay. Very good. Very good. Well, a big thank you to everybody that is watching today and has watched today, and will watch this on video on demand. If you'd like to know more about the Streamcast Network, you can go to the streamcastnetwork.com. And there's a contact form there where you can shoot an email to Cliff if you want to. If you'd like to be on his show, the Anatomy of an Entrepreneur, I'm sure he would love to chat with you about that and see if what you're doing kind of fit the criteria that he's working with.
It'd be fun to do one from NAB.
Oh, an Anatomy of an Entrepreneur show?
Yeah, do a panel discussion with live streamers. Just saying. I'd be happy to moderate.
Yeah. Well, let's talk some more about that. I've got some ideas for you. How you can fit in with an infrastructure that's already working on that, rather than having to create the whole wheel again from scratch.
Sure.
So, yeah, Jan says we need to post the cooking show in Streaming Idiots. This is one stream that will be both fun and educational. Well, absolutely.
I'm a scared.
Well, you're going to have fun with it. But I do appreciate your time today. If you have interest in anything from Eastern Shore Broadcasting, easternshorebroadcasting.com, there's a contact form there. You can get a hold of me. Always happy to chat with folks. And again, if you're interested in having a PC built, certainly we can talk with you about that. But if you're just am I ready for that? We can talk with you about that too. There's no hard sell. We made enough money off of Cliff to last us for months and months, so we're okay. Cliff's thinking, I paid that guy too much.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Oh,
Check focus then.
do you want to do a quick walking tour of the studio before you go? Can you switch over to
I
another
can, but
input?
I have to. I do. I have to go to the other input. Let me see if I can.
Yeah.
I can do that. Hold on a second.
And we'll put him on full screen. Let's see. Can we do that? Whoops, that's not full screen. What about that one? There we go. We can hear some echoes in the background. I think that's something that's going on in Cliff's studio. Maybe he's got this live stream on another TV somewhere. So stick around for just a minute. And let's see, where we go. Let's do this one. Stick around for just a minute. I'll make that one go full screen when Cliff gets back. But thanks so much for tuning in. It's a great way to start off a new year. It's going to be a lot of fun this year. Looking forward to some exciting new content. Looking forward to oh, there we go. Let's go to that one. I think that was number 6. Yeah, there we go.
Okay, so this is where I was sitting by our green screen. Actually, this is a 6000. It's a very inexpensive camera with a power zoom on it. And we have also a...
Cliff, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay. Whatever mic you're on, we're not picking it up very well.
right.
There we
Oh,
go.
so you know what? Let me get the wireless. Hold on.
No, you're good now. You're probably talking into the phone. That's fine.
No, I'm not. I cut the phone microphone. Let me see
Oh.
if I can. Hold on.
Oh, that was annoying. Let's see if that's gone away. There we go.
Give me 1 second, Tom.
Take all the time you need.
You want to go back?
Okay, and that just went black.
Yes, it did. That's because I have it on the desk.
Oh, there we go. He's back now.
Hold on.
Okay, we're holding on. We have no picture and we have no audio. So maybe you don't want to work with Streamcast Networks after all.
Hold on. Hold on, Tom. Hold the wire.
He's like, hold on, give me a break. Give me a break. Oh my goodness. That's great.
Tom, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. Let me put on this wireless mic here. Okay, good. So here's our switcher.
Ooh, I like the curved monitors.
Yeah, we bought 2 of them. Guess where we got those?
eBay.
Costco.
Costco. Love it.
Yeah, they were about $179 a piece.
Okay. Yeah, we typically don't supply monitors when we build a system simply because you can buy them as cheaply as we can.
Right. And we've got our Behringer. I think it's called the 808.
Yeah? Sweet.
USB here because we keep drives up here because we record the shows, and so we have drives that are Velcroed up here.
Okay.
Keyboard, and then we have 2 separate desks for comments. So
Okay.
we have a common person for Facebook and a common person for YouTube.
Okay.
And there is the monster,
Ah,
the beast.
the beast. I love it. How beautiful.
Yeah, I know, but we've got to clean those wires up. Why isn't Frank cleaning those wires up?
Why is it mounted sideways?
I don't know why. Because that's how it fit inside of this console.
Oh, it wasn't a rack mount opening. I'm sorry.
Right. Stuff here.
All right, this is a comment desk that you were at right there.
This is a comment desk. It's a mess, but yes,
Okay.
this is a comment desk.
Uh-huh.
And you see, we have a rail all
Yep.
around the studio. And there's our
Nice.
grid,
Yep.
right? So the grid is the entire studio,
Right.
right? So we have this rail. Here's our green screen. And then we have all kinds of lighting. We use a lot of Kino flows for the green screen
Yep.
because they're nice and soft.
Yeah.
And if you look at all the diffusers we have on here, that's because of my silver hair, and it stops it from reflecting.
Uh-huh.
Kino actually took this one here and put, so that this one doesn't reflect off me, he put on this black piece of material
Yep.
to stop the light from reflecting on my head over here.
A do-it-yourself barn door. I like it.
Right. So, and that's what it looks like there. Oh, then, I wish I could take you into the equipment room. Hold on a second. I'm not going to hear you, but I'm going to take you into our equipment closet just for a second. Hold
All
on.
right.
Okay, so I'm walking out of the studio. This is just an open area here. That's my desk for editing and things like that. Oops, there's our lobby. Oops. Oh, there's Mike the recruiter. So this is our equipment closet in here. We've got all kinds of gear. We've got all kinds of lighting kits. We have ARRI kits in here and stands and everything you can imagine in here as well. Joe also has a 3-ton grip lighting truck. That's how I really got into movies, how I got into this business when I was a kid. I used to show movies at kids' parties. Let me put this back. Okay, I'm back, Tom.
All right.
So that's our studio. Oh, and we also, one more thing. We do a little lighting for Lori here. When she's doing comments, we put up lights in the grid here. So that's for that common person.
That's cool.
That's about it.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, I love it. I love it. And so what do you think the dimensions of your studio are? 30 by 20,
I'm
did
gonna
you say?
About 25 by 30, yes.
25 by
And
30.
12-foot high ceilings.
And a 12-foot ceiling. Wow.
Yeah.
Loving that. Loving that. And now we're back to the shot.
Right, because I didn't want anybody to get any more nauseous from my camera work than they already were.
All right.
And that was NDI, by the way.
Oh, yes. Very good.
That was a new tech app.
Uh-huh. All right, man. Well, I need to go back to work.
Me too.
I would love to hang out with you all day, but it's just not going to happen. But
Well, I appreciate you having me on.
oh, you're welcome, and thank you for the impromptu tour at the end. Sorry we kind of took you by surprise on that one.
That's okay.
You know, it's like, oh, I need to clean up here before I can let somebody go through this studio. But,
This place is a mess.
but it's a working studio. I mean, that's the real life experience that we just got, which is, you know, that's the way
Yes.
a working studio is. Yep. All right. Very good. Falling Down South, Cliff owns the building, so he doesn't have any rental fees. Yeah.
Just
He's
a
renting-
mortgage.
He's renting to other people. Yeah, that's right.
I
Just
am
the mortgage.
renting. Yeah.
And the property taxes. Property taxes
Oh, my
probably
God.
exceed what the rent would be down here.
The property taxes are $22,000 a year.
Yep. 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 That's 3 times my rent. Yeah. Yep.
But I own a shared office space, and they pay those taxes.
Ah, there you go. Good deal. All right, my friend. It was great hanging
Okay,
out with
great.
you. Holler if you need me.
Yep, you too.
And I will catch
Will
up
do.
with you later. Later.
Okay, great. Thanks so much.
Toodles. Bye.
Okay, bye.
All right, folks. Well, we'll do away with him. What a treat. What a treasure. I appreciate Cliff so much. And I appreciate you guys. Thanks for tuning in. We will see you next week on another exciting episode of Streaming Idiots. Mark your calendars for NAB. I believe it's April 17th through the 23rd. No, that's too many days, but it's around that time. We'll have it more for you. That's the NAB conference in Las Vegas. The Streaming Idiots meetup will be that Monday night of NAB. And if you're there for the show, you want to make sure you stay over that Monday night so you can come to the party. It's going to be a lot of fun. If I can help you with vMix or a custom PC or PTZ optics gear or Magewell or Uon or golly, all sorts of stuff, or just help you get started in the right direction with your live stream, you know, you can reach me, Tom at EasternShoreBroadcasting.com. And yeah, that's it. That's it. So we will see you. We'll see you when we see you. Okay. Now I've got a button here that says cut to close, but this doesn't work anymore. So we're just going to let the live stream just sort of fade out to me walking off the set. So see you later. You like Mr. Roberts?